The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Foxy and Squid Show. My name is Saki, the Foxy herself. We're still waiting on Erik to come and join us. He's having some issues with the toilets, but he will be joining us this evening. Not like last week when he just appeared out of nowhere and he broke my heart, but he will be appearing this week when he comes in. But there is something, however, that I did want to start off the show with. So first things first is, you guys will notice that I am sounding way more serious than I would normally sound for this show. It's not something I would like to do because the show isn't about serious. Well, it can be, but it's not about being that serious. It's definitely something, though, that I do have to come and bring out attention to, because I've seen that's been brought out time and time again, and it's time for some passive aggressiveness for Saki. In terms of that is why today you really won't be hearing me curse or having fun or like going crazy over a video game, because one, I'm not streaming right now. I want to try to give you guys 100% focus in what I'm about to say and what we're going to do the show today. I'm also going not so serious. I'm going to try to be lighthearted, because again, this show is supposed to be lighthearted. But for the beginning of the show, I will be having a more serious tone. So for those of you that are listening to right now, if you feel like you want to skip over, you want to like wait until between the next 20 minutes or so, feel free to wait. I don't mind. Like I said, this is not our regular showy doodah whatsoever. However, it's come to my attention that we have an issue within family. Now, W2M Network, I have to say, they're like family to me right now, because when I left this Miami-based website where I had done podcasts with other journalists, writers, Josh Ilori was one of them, Dylan Goldman was another, Erik was one of them as well. We all came together, and it seemed that when the Miami-based website had shut down, we couldn't get separated. And I grew to really look at these people as my friends. I mean, they were there for me when my stepmom got diagnosed with cancer. They were there for me when I was going through my own shit in high school and going into college and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with life, and they were there for me. And Sean, our producer, who has his own episodes and podcasts here on the W2 Network, he's always writing for us, he's always pushing for us. Like, when we left the Miami-based website, I tried to do some projects. Projects have two outcomes, that they either succeed or they just don't end, or rather they end and they don't fail, they just end. This unfortunately is where I keep seeing that comes the problem. But let me continue on about the terms of family, all right? When I left that Miami-based website, I wanted to continue the projects and that I had learned from there and move it to somewhere more to my genre, let's put it. There came a time where I did do a show and a podcast and whatnot with another person. I thought that we were professional enough, though, that when we ended our project, it wasn't committed as a failure project, but rather something that we learned, it ended, and we moved on to the next thing. Then, of course, I moved with Erik, because Erik was in halfway point of our project, and he moved with me after it ended. And I started the YouTube channel more often. I started working on it, building on it, when, lo and behold, Sean comes in and adds me to a whole new set of family with some returning guests or returning members. So when I entered the W2M network, I consider everyone as like a part of a work family. And please understand that families always are going to have arguments. That's the unfortunate thing when you work with family, and when when you're always on a constant basis with a person, and you really have to talk to them, you have to work with them and whatnot. I will tell you that when it comes to family, it means a lot to me. And when it also comes to professional family, they also mean a lot to me. I believe in being professional. I believe in being an adult. I believe in that if you have something to say, we should all respectfully hear you out. Same vice versa. You hear me out if I have something against you. And we move on. We work to fix it, and we move on, and we continue our job. That is how I see the W2M network, as a job with something that I love as a family. And that I will defend if there comes a time where, for example, if one of my friends or one of my co-workers is getting bashed publicly, and that person he's trying to defend himself, but there's coming on all attacks. That is where I will defend that person, because again, they're like family. That's the thing. They're like family. And it has come to my attention, though, that it's time I start stepping my foot down just this once, and that I plainly say that what I think about this person, and this person acting the way he has acted. Number one, it's contrary to what I'm thinking of. And number two, it's ridiculous. It is childish. It is ridiculous. I thought that it was over. Projects, like I said, are just meant to end. The projects have two outcomes. Either they again succeed, or they fail. Or rather end, better said. I don't want to use the word fail, because projects are also meant to learn about a person, especially when you are starting out in something and you're treading some waters that you don't really know. And when it comes to the projects that I have taken in the past, I always took them as a learning experience. I take the W2M network as a learning experience. I take my YouTube and my Twitch channel as a learning experience. I take everything I do as a learning experience and something to benefit me, whether or not it ends or it succeeds. This is where I have to say again that doing this show to just prove a point and to just say this is ridiculous and childish. And unfortunately, I have to do it because staying quiet seems to not be working. Neither is talking to this person not working. Okay? To make a show and literally have to point this out because it, again, of this childish behavior makes me feel childish, because I have to do this. And I don't like doing that, especially when it's something that is professional. Like I said, and Erik, he just joined us, so when I'm finished here, he'll have something to say about the show, as well as what his point is. We are here for the Foxy and Squid Show to be something for our viewers to relax. That when they come home from work and they have had a rough day, they listen every Wednesday night to relax, to laugh, to say, what the hell are these two people thinking? What in God's name is wrong with them? That's what Foxy and Squid is all about. We discuss serious issues. We discuss politics. We discuss entertainment. We discuss sports. We discuss video games. We discuss everything. And we do it because we know that our audience wants something to relax, to be informed, to just enjoy. And that is what Foxy and Squid is and what it is meant to be. Not this stupid episode that we're doing today, and I have to point this out to people, or to rather to this person. So with that being said, again, I apologize to my viewers that you're listening to this and that you are having been forced for me to go on this tirade. I apologize that you're not going to get to see me at my most cutest moments where I'm screaming, fuck you, shit, bitch, bullshit, bullcrap. Because this has affected me so much that I cannot hold back any longer. And Erik can tell you. Erik can tell you I'm an emotional person. Am I an emotional person, Erik?
I would say so, especially when provoked. Now, granted, that could mean a lot of different things, but in this case, it's negative.
So, you see, even Erik knows that I'm the same. And like I said, I don't want to wish badly upon this person, because believe it or not, professionally, he gets shit done. He gets things going. He says that he's a leader. I mean, he still has a lot to go, but he's definitely someone that has some qualities of being a leader and can be worked upon it into reaching what his goals want to be. But it's stupid that I have to do this. And unfortunately, I have to. Erik, I can tell you knows some of the struggles that I've been going through. He's more like a trusted friend. And I was just explaining, Erik, while you were getting shit on, that I see you and many people that I work with as family, especially in the W2M network. Not so much in my job, because that's a whole entire bullshit right there. But in the W2M network, this is like, it's like my little virtual home. And you, above all people, will know that I confide a lot into you, correct? Erik, don't leave me hanging, dude, because you're breaking my heart again.
Mom just came in with Jell-O, so she forgot to close the door when she left. And granted, it's very delicious homemade Jell-O. She gave the idea that...
Wait. What flavor it is? What flavor is it?
Now here's the thing. The Jell-O powder itself is orange, but have you seen the mixed fruit cups that are like fruit, but it's also in like a fruit and veggie juice?
Yeah.
We're using those as the fruit.
Oh.
So, yes, that's why in between this, and I will have you know, golden showers are acceptable in the realm of the squid. Brown showers is a hard no. No. Hence me dealing with the toilet, so I wouldn't be shit on. Thank you very much. I dealt with one sewage backup in my life, and that's enough.
Wait, I have to ask this. Receiving?
Giving.
Or okay. Okay. I had to ask that before we continue, because that was going to be a question that was burning in my mind if we didn't continue.
That's fine. If I remember the hanky code right, I would be wearing the yellow hanky out of my right pocket. I think.
So, first things first, I apologize if Erik sounds like robotic. Skype is not the best thing to use in terms of doing shit, because, I mean, Skype, it is what it is.
Yeah, I actually had to go through an update tonight, so...
Oh, shit. So, this is where I say again that I trust Erik a lot, and like I said, it's stupid that I had to point this out and I had to say shit, and the thing is, like, and Erik can tell you as well, I'm not someone that likes to live in the past. Like I said, my goal is to fix what we're having a problem with and just move forward. Never bringing out dirty laundry, because what's the point of bringing out dirty laundry? What's the point of talking about these failed projects in such a way that you feel like that they were failures, when again, these are projects that led us to where we are today. You know, they're experiences. I use them and I tell people, like, listen, I do this podcast every Wednesday night. Or I used to do this podcast that would last 3 hours hours, and it was one of the best things that I could do, and I learned so much in how to produce shows and how to work with audio and how to do every single thing that I love to do right now. And that is why when I have to face this problem, I be the bigger adult. This time, unfortunately, I had to put my foot down. But most of the times, I just want to move on. I just want to be the bigger adult. I want to be a professional. And as the title of today's wonderful podcast is titled, we will be teaching you how to be a professional. Because for all our viewers out there that are going through, you're always going to have someone in your workplace that is not going to be amicable.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
It is the truth. So, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with someone that isn't amicable, that doesn't work? Like, for example, right now in my job, I have 2 people that are not speaking to me because number one, they don't do jack shit at their job, all right? And I have to end up working double because of them, but that's not the point. How do I deal with these 2 people that are not really amicable with me? I tell you how I deal with them. I don't stay quiet, nor do I ignore them back, nor do I do childish antics by posting things about them or a good example of saying things about them and just spewing out what I think is truth and really what it isn't. What I'm assuming things about them. No. That's not how this works. That's not how being a professional works. All right. And Eric, you can also work with me because I'm sure you've had more relationships at the job that are not so amicable as well.
Oh, dating back quite a ways, yes. But how I've responded isn't the ideal situation, but it worked for me, and I had a lot of higher-ups who had my back.
Okay, well, you see, again, being professional, what I like to think about being a professional, and Eric would be like the bad example, and I'll be the good example, which is always the case on the show.
Not entirely, but
yes. I mean, you're normally the one that's being the bad naughty boy, so.
You know what? No, I could spill an entire gallon of tea on that one, but no. I'll save it. I'll put it in the refrigerator.
See, this again. What Eric and I have, it's not considered professional. However, with the job that we do, which is this show, this is how our professional relationship is, and how I can transcend into a personal relationship in terms of friendship and whatnot. When you are in a professional working environment, though, your goal is to create a good environment. If you make friends at that point, that's a different story. But if you are in a professional environment and you are going in and you are with a strong confidence, mind and body, then that is where you have to say to yourself, okay, how can I make this person not like me, but respect me? And that's the one word that I have to, impose and make it important. I don't know the word right now, but I have to make it a priority for everybody that's listening. It all comes down to respect. All right. When it comes to professionalism, you may like the person, you may not like the person, but at the end of the day, what's going to save your ass is the respect that you have for yourself first, and then to that person. Okay? My experiences with my projects have led to many roads. I will not lie, into some very personal ones. It may have ended well, it may have not ended well, but at the end of the day, I'm going to have a professional respect for that person. Because as I said, when it comes to his work, he gets shit done. And when it gets bashed on, I will defend it. I may not like him as a person anymore, and I may not like him as someone that I used to think of fondly and closely, but I do respect his professional integrity. Has he done the same for me in terms of has he respected my own professions and my own professional integrity? Not necessarily. There's been very times where I've had to go crazy, and I would rant to Erik like, what the hell? Oh my God! Like, who does he think he is? But I don't do it to him, and I don't go and bash to him or to Erik about him, but rather how I feel and how, as much as I respect him, there's some things that I don't agree, but that's beside the point. That is where you want to avoid when you're in a profession, that you don't want to let yourself lose respect for your own self and for that other person. Because at the end of the day, that person is not going to get fired because he disrespected you or he's not respecting your stuff. That person is not based or is not judged by his bosses or his superiors because of that. He is based on how his work ethic is. And if the boss and superior likes it, then you can't say jack shit about it. That's why you have to be the bigger person, and you have to be adults, keyword adults, all right? Not some childish antics that you want to put up and want to do, all right? You have to be adults about it, and you have to respect that other person and their work integrity. Doesn't mean you have to conversate with them the whole time. I mean, you if you want to, you want to. If you don't want to, it's nobody's business but your own. But you have to respect everybody. And Erik, am I correct in saying about the respect?
Yes, because for me, and like I said, even when I had my first tutoring job, there was someone. Part of me wants to put her on blast, but if you pay attention and you've known me for long enough, let's just say she was the person who introduced me to the concept of I hate fuck.
Okay.
Yes. That being said, I'm not gonna lie, she was very uppity, full of herself, and pretty much a total bitch. When it came to the two of us working together, our demeanors really didn't mix. But everybody loved me, students loved me, bosses loved me because I was awesome, not only in just doing my job, but I had a lot of respect from the students and even fellow tutors. Then at other times, it was pretty much the same. She was good at her job as well. I'm not going to deny that, but she rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. The more and more I worked with her, because it was for a good couple of years, I finally decided, you know what, I've had enough. So I went ahead, I talked to my boss, she was very understanding about it, and I got to the point to where I handed in my resignation. I'm like, I can't take this anymore, this is great, but I've got to go. My boss, she just looked at me and it's like, you know what? You're a good person. I get that. You had issues. I'm not taking your resignation. You're just going to go ahead, take the rest of the semester off, come back, clear your head, see what happens. I went back. Everything was hunky-dory, especially after she left. Things got even better, much more harmonious for the rest of the tutors and all of us. And after I'd gone, she was there for a bit, but some of the other tutors that I was friends with, still friends with to today, they even mentioned the fact that her personality was just terrible to work with. Do I still have professional respect for her? Yes. Will I stand to be in the same room with her? No. I'm just leaving it at that. And in certain cases, especially in this case in particular, I've worked with them on a multitude of projects. And kind of tying into what you said at the beginning about how you don't see things as failure, always know this. With the duality of nature, it breeds harmony. Without failure, there is no success. One cannot exist in a vacuum without the other. But that
and
said,
there is Squiddy quote of the day.
but that said, I worked with him. I still work with him. He has some leadership qualities, but he's young. That's why, and we even talked about this, Sean is in the same position. Sometimes you need an old head to just sit you down, give you a little bit of that old head wisdom, which I do my best to provide whenever I can.
That sounded so dirty.
Okay, if you don't grow up in like the communities that I am familiar with, not even those kind of communities, I just mean in general, you know what that means. But anyways, he's got a lot of growing to do. He's got a lot of potential, but he's also got to realize, number one, be careful about stepping in on anybody if you make it to the top. Because if you make it to the top, you're either going to stay there or fall down. If you fall down, those people that stepped on you, you got to think to yourself, they can get in a good hit if they want to. But also at the same time, if you don't step on these people, that's great. Get along with them, but you've also got to take some time and look at yourself. Are you doing too much too soon? What's working? What isn't working? What's the problem that things like this keep happening? Because one show which, okay, it could use a lot of tweaks. You got another one which went well once you decided to listen to other people and have input. But then as you realize as things change and people are looking at different avenues to move on to bigger and better things, you have to adapt. If you struggle to adapt, well, look what happens. People are going to adapt without you. So there's a lot of things that can really go on. Am I going to continue to work with him? I hope so. There's some big things coming up, and we've had some private professional discussions, and I'm really looking forward to what's going on. But at the same time, I'm going to keep sitting him down and saying, hey, maybe you need to burn a timeout. Even just on a professional level, then turn into the old head and really sit him down and say, hey, XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on both sides of that road. I've had people, like I said, where I've come out smelling like a rose. Other situations where I haven't. Things that I'm dealing with now. Things that I shouldn't have said or done. That I don't really regret, but it made people think. And I know better how to react in these situations. And sometimes, no matter how hard you do, no matter how hard you have to be a professional, you have to sometimes do the professional thing and also leave. Don't necessarily burn a bridge, but just cut ties.
Of course. And, I remember it happened with me on some occasions when it came to clubs that I were working in my school. Sometimes leaving has to be the option, but it all comes down to how you're going to portray, how you're going to take it, and how you are going to really appreciate the situation. And I mean by appreciate, like, how is this going to affect you 10 years later, 20 years later, and that is something that when you have like these arguments within the family, I call it again my family, you got to see how this is going to affect you and how you're going to combat it. So there's that one. I did want to talk about something else though, because we're already kind of reaching like the midpoint of the show, and I wanted to talk to you, Eric, because there is something that I did not agree. I listened to this from this person's show, and I feel like John Oliver correcting Trump on that recent episode where he has the. Did you have? Let me ask you something before we start. Do you know if the commercials actually aired?
I don't, because from the way he said it, they only aired on those networks locally in DC.
Oh.
So, yes, he specifically targeted, and especially with national networks, you're talking about some major airtime at a cost per point. So I can understand how he would only air them locally to keep within budget, but I think that makes it even smarter. And I'm hoping if anybody who was up in the area, up at that time, he said about 8:30 Eastern, tweet the show, tweet me, tweet Saki. Let us know, did they actually go through with it?
I would love to know that. I would love to know that, because I saw that and I was like, damn, that's how you get it. You see, that is how you have to do as a journalist professionally when it comes to like the bullshit of Donald Trump. But anyways, that's a topic for another day.
Well, not just professionally. I mean, look, if I'm up at 8:30 in the morning, I have to listen to Squint and the Meat Puppet talking about Orange Julius Caesar. I would love to know and educate myself as much as possible on how to locate the clitoris. I just sit and learn that while I drink my coffee and take notes. Damn it, the man is doing us all a public service.
And we found out the name of Trump's other daughter, Tiffany. I didn't know that there was another daughter.
I did, but it was a very long story. Yeah.
But she's pretty. Like, can we agree that she's pretty, right?
Well, of course she's pretty. Look at where she comes from. She is of the loins of Marla Maples, or as I constantly refer to her, the one that got away. I see what you're doing there, Mr. Mango Mussolini. You ain't getting away from me. I saw that picture conveniently with Marla on the magazine cover. Okay, come on now. Come on. Man to man, can we sit down and have a little chat, black to orange? Really?
Orange is the new black.
Black to orange, man. That's a good one.
That was a really good one, Eric. That's going to be my ringtone. Black to orange. Black to orange.
You're welcome.
Remind me by the end of this year to gather every show that we've done and everything that we have done, like either by ourselves or with you, and make us like an album to sell on iTunes of all the shit we say.
I like that idea.
Right? If the comedians can do it, why can't we, right? I agree.
Exactly.
Nanashi can help us with that in terms of getting the stuff together and posting it.
Yeah, he can help better with this and help him win that contest. But I'm not bitter.
He's going through a contest? Nobody told me he was going through a contest.
No, the one that he helped me with. That you helped me with?
Well, we both know that was a very difficult contest to deal with as we were looking at those naked pictures.
That's why I'm saying I'm not bitter. In this case, yes, you really do read for the articles.
Unfortunately. But anyways, that's not the point. As I was saying, there was something that we haven't really talked about on the show. If we did, we mentioned it in passing, and we didn't really focus on it. Grayson Allen from Duke University. Now,
oh, Jesus.
Wait,
really?
Wait. No. There's a reason why I'm doing this, Eric. Because it's
this
not
better
about
be
what...
a good one, because I don't know how many times that I've heard his name. And I'm saying that because his name was shoved up my ass when he was back in high school.
No. It's a very good reason. Just hear me out.
Okay.
On said person's show, he said that Grayson Allen is in a worse category than what Ray Rice did to his wife. And I believe it's Joey Maddox, if I'm not mistaken. What he did to his wife as well. The reason why I'm bringing this subject up, because I agree with you, Grayson Allen can kiss my ass, because privileged white boy, privileged white school. That's, again, different story for a different time.
Trust me, I can blend those together, and it's not just Duke that's a privileged white school.
Well, wait just a minute. Eric. Said person said, and I was listening to this at work and I was fuming. And I have to say this because this is wrong. It's very wrong. He says that Grayson Allen has tripped over 8 guys in every game that he's practically played. And that he deserves to be suspended, if not expelled, from playing basketball at Duke University. But that Ray Rice, I was so trying to avoid that, but Ray Rice and Joey Maddox should have gotten second chances after they beat up their wives, and that the only reason that it became such a big shit show was because they were caught on video. I have to tell you, Eric, that you know how I am.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed. Because one thing is Grayson Allen tripping a pair of skinny-ass college guys, all right, with his skinny ass, okay? And then acting all babyish about it as he gets... Don't laugh, Sean, because this is a valid point.
No, it's actually a very valid point. So I'm like,
no, I just laughed that she said skinny ass boys with his skinny ass. It's like, God.
Well, I mean, look at him. He's bigger.
I know. I'm just. It's.
Oh my God.
No, wait. And then sits on the bench and cries like a little bitch. All right. Because he got caught. That's one thing. Another thing is, when a 250-pound full of iron muscle football player beats the shit out of his wife, knocks her out, and drags her like a piece of meat outside
Ray
of
Rice doesn't weigh that much.
No, he weighed like 220.
Okay, 30 pounds less. 30 pounds less of pure muscle.
Hey,
yeah,
that makes a fucking difference, especially when you're knocking someone the fuck out.
Okay, well, he's still not. You know how I am with math, Eric and Sean. You know better than this. Come on.
Okay.
All right, come on.
Well, I have to be like this, especially because I have a potential test for a new job coming up. So, sorry, you're going to get me.
She has a point, though. You know.
Yeah, she does.
No, it's not just a point. It's okay. They're two separate issues. Don't even mix or compare these two issues together, because one issue is dealing with sportsmanlike conduct, all right, during a game, and how professional this person is when he goes outside of school and into a professional organization. Another thing is that you just literally beat the shit out of someone, a human being, okay, and that it's a crime, that is a problem, a social problem that has been happening, and that has only recently been really coming out to light, and where women are trying to get stronger and trying to find support groups and whatnot. I don't care if the football player, after he gets all the consequences, because let's not forget that we were having issues with the NFL organization trying to deal with this, all right? Even the NFL was criticized critically because of how they handled a situation like this.
Well, that's because Goodell fucked up.
Well, Goodell fucked up, of course. But I'm saying that it's two different issues, and this is an issue that, I'm sorry, it's more important than some skinny-ass college kid, because it's a kid, all right, acts like that and acts like a little bitch, and doesn't know how to properly behave like an adult that he should be, okay? Another thing, too, is it's a crime and it's an atrocious act either way. All right? If it's caught on video or not, it doesn't matter because it still happened. All right? You're telling me...
He does have a point, though, that nobody was really making a big deal about it until they got caught, until we saw the tape, though. Nobody was really talking about it. When the tape happened, just like what happened with the Oklahoma running back, that's when everybody said, "Oh my God, this is terrible. We got to do something."
Yeah, because the outrage became public. And I'll honestly say, I'm definitely siding with you because, in a technical sense, Ray Rice got a second chance because he was reinstated. Now, granted, he was becoming a shitty running back before all that happened, so it was no surprise.
The only person he got a second chance was with his wife. He never got a second chance in the NFL. Nobody.
And that's why I said, yeah, technically he was reinstated, but who's going to want a guy who was an older running back who couldn't even get 4 yards per carry? Simple
right,
as
but
that.
They're not going to want all that drama either.
No, they're not. And just like the situation with Greg Hardy, even he's a beast of a player. Look at all of his issues. Nobody's calling to him, and now he's being offered to play in this development league that's being set up.
I don't think he's being offered. I think he asked to be in the developmental league.
Now, I heard they reached out to him.
Oh, well, maybe because they just want some named players or something.
Yeah, they reached out to him. They reached out to Johnny Manziel because, again, they want players and want to try to spur along not just name recognition for the league, but try to spur along comebacks. And to Greg Hardy's credit, he was a beast. The Oklahoma running back, suspended for a year. I'm okay with that because, yes, you did something stupid.
Right, but what was everybody saying after the video came out? He should have been suspended longer. Even his coach said he should have been suspended.
Yeah.
That's the power of video.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing. And personally, I think Grayson Allen also got off easy because, number one, NBA scouts have already said he plays like shit. Number two, and I'm going to put in some of my bias, he played at Providence High School here in Jacksonville, where I live. So every single night, every time he did something that was at least borderline significant, I heard of him on the news. And Providence, that's an upper crust school in this town. So would have I had a chance to go there had I lived in the right neighborhood? Yes. But went to a different school, wound up becoming a magnet program, turning it around. That's my personal story. But it's just like, okay, you're having all this hype for him as a local kid. Why not some of these others? Just like you hyped up Tim Tebow and eventually look at what happened to him. And the fact that had Coach K been more available to that team, he was out there back surgery as the suspension came down, he would have been out longer, and he should have. This guy, it's a collection of very stupid things. Professional organizations really don't want to touch you. You need to back up and take time out for yourself to realize, hey, this isn't going to get me anywhere. Hey, maybe all these people have been blowing smoke up my ass this entire time. I need to look within myself. He was never really given that opportunity, and it's going to catch up with him. But also to your point, comparing the two, there's no sort of equivalency here. None whatsoever.
Oh, I agree with her that they shouldn't be compared. I'm just saying that that the person we're talking about here, talking about how it wasn't really a big deal until the video, you kind of got it. That's true, though.
Yeah, because it was only bubbling up, and then all of a sudden the video came out, and that's when all the outrage. Because in this situation to where we have so much technology and we're able to get so much access to stuff and see it so instantly, we can react. Not even so much efficiently, but react in a much more, I guess, exaggerated way. There's so much that we can see and there's so much that we can react to, and how we react has adjusted to that. Had this happened years ago, it would have been completely covered up and no one would have been the wiser. Until all of a sudden, you don't see Ray Rice on the football field and you wonder why. And you figure, oh, he's getting older, slower, this and that. Finally, after he retired, oh, this would have come out on the 6 o'clock news. But now, you can access it yourself, so it's easier. It's like, whoa, something needs to be done. Everything's being brought out to the forefront.
This is why I love these two people right here. Like, seriously, guys, this is why I love you. Like, hearts to you, to the both of you. Like, seriously. As I said, I think my biggest concern and my biggest deal, if anything, is that you can't compare the two of them. You can't compare them, you know. And I'm not saying that what Grayson Allen was doing is right, because it isn't, and it is a big issue because, again, this is a kid who's being looked on by professional organizations, and this type of behavior is not acceptable, and again, kids are watching this character.
Well, let me break it down kind of like this. What's going on with Grayson Allen is the biggest issue for Grayson Allen. You have all kinds of other high school players who don't give a fuck about him and who would actually go to different schools just so they could get a chance to whoop his ass. You have a lot of college players that's saying, why should we give a shit about you unless we're playing against you? We're going out and winning a title, or we're going to be one and done. We're going to be on to the NBA. Scouts love us. We can go to these teams. You can't, bitch. and seriously, this is what's going on, because that's what it is. It's about stepping up to the professional ranks. But with the Ray Rice situation, that wasn't just a big deal for him. It wasn't just a big deal for his wife. That was a big deal for everybody.
Correct.
It was a big deal with the league, because this is a player. This is supposed to be a representative.
Exactly.
It's a big deal in general because of the issue of domestic violence, especially the severity of it. So you've got something that strikes a lot more nerve with a lot more people. Now, yes, the origins of how the nerve are struck based on video, that is a valid point, because you have to see it, you have to get poked in order to react, but the scale of the reaction, so much more magnified because you're striking exponentially more nerves more different ways.
Yep. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up the show. I just want to give a really huge thank you to the viewers that, tolerated this episode. Again, I apologize, and this is probably the only and last time that I'm ever going to be doing a show like this, because, as I said, I'm not a fan of doing shows like this. But I do hope that everybody learns a little something, and that we can just move forward and be adults about things.
As my mom once said last night, sometimes you gotta be educational.
Educational. So, with that being said, my name is Saki. You guys can find me on my YouTube channel, Saki Sakura, on my Twitch channel, Saki Sakura Black Rose. Also can find my Twitter at Sakura_Steph309. That's a lot of Sakuras now that I realize that. And you guys can also check out.
But it's a brand, though. You're just enhancing your brand. And like I said, I'm taking advantage of that.
Wait, you are taking advantage of that, or am I taking advantage of that?
Both, just in different ways.
Okay, I'm afraid of your way. But that's for later.
Look,
anyway.
I am not referring to what certain phrases that I imagine you saying in my head repeatedly today. I am referring to something else entirely.
Mew. Anyways, that's my outro. Go ahead, Eric. Say your piece.
Yep, I am the Squid. You can find me on Twitter at SquidSportsHead. Where you will find what I'm pretty sure will definitely now be my last episode of At This Week in AFL coming up. Target date for that is a 2017 preview show, March 30th. But you can also find my writings about the ins and outs at Inside_Arena for Inside the Arena. as we gear up for the season. But in the meantime,
I like how you say meantime.
Well, because I was trying to get a nice segue in there. But in the meantime, Midal Satone and our lovely producer Sean, along with Rachel McCrieger at the McCrieger, you can find us Sunday nights on Soccer to the Max, where coming up this week, Phase 2 of our MLS preview for this season, and a few other little topics on my way. Probably some ramblings and some crazy ideas that I've thought of today after watching an episode of The Artful Detective. Sean, I may need to run a couple by you to figure out how insane I really am. And yeah, as I've said, some big things that we're trying to do with this show. I've made some steps. Don't want to necessarily spill the beans, but if all goes well, it could be big. Very, very big.
Cool beans, guys. Till the next week. Bye, Muse.
Do your homework and don't forget to be awesome.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.